the dementia and just watch the slow degradation, the slow degenerative process. Heart-wrenching. Absolutely heart-wrenching. And there's no cure, and that's what hurts about the whole thing. And I think Gardner and this lady played it real well, because he told her the whole story of the book, then she remembered it. She remembered everything for about 5 minutes, and they had a dance. And in the 5 minutes or less, she forgot again, and she freaked out, thought like James Gardner was like going to touch her and, you know, do stuff to her, and you know, this is ripping him apart. And then seeing this, and then all the orderlies come in, they grab her, they put her a shot in her to calm her down. And you know, in someone with that kind of medical, even though you're doing the right thing, in their mind, they feel like they're a prisoner. They can't do anything. They can't think. It's like in one of the things, come on, let's go in the car, let's drive away, let's go. And he knows he can't do it because she'll freak out, because she won't remember, and it's not her fault. And that I would say, if anyone is dealing with someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, this is a good film to watch, because you really get an understanding of how serious it is and the effects it has on family. Now, the Hollywood side of this is Gardner closes the notebook but reopens it, looks at the inscription, and it's written by Allie, which is the lady that's in which says, anytime you want me back, you read this book. And that's the way he got her back, is reading this book. Is read the whole story, and then she always came back to him for only a short period of time, and then she forgot. So then, at the end, James Gardner has another heart attack, a third one. And he's dying, and he knows it. So he goes to the nurse or something and says, hey, you know, I want to see her. And he's like, well, I can't allow you to see her, but I'm going down to have a cup of coffee. And I'll be gone for about 20 minutes, so don't do anything stupid. And she leaves her coffee cup and goes up and gets a cup of coffee. And he's like, hint, hint. Okay, no problem. So he goes in to see Allie, and Allie is like, essentially, who are you? Who are you? I don't understand you. Who are you again? And Allie says, well, she remembers. Without dementia, then remembers who it is. And Allie knows she's dying, and she knows what's happening. She doesn't understand, doesn't want to lose it. So, interesting enough, she asks, can our love die together or diminish together? And it's because I think she realized there's no point to this anymore. And then Gardner agreed. They got into bed together and died. Both of them together. Now that is beautiful. I mean, it was great Hollywood. Very rare in the real world. Very rare, but it's great Hollywood. The closest thing I think I could ever see of something like that happening in the real world was that Marine that died in Afghanistan, but his dog wouldn't leave his coffin because he knew who was in there, and he knew why he was there. And that was probably the hardest. That's the closest example I could give. And basically, when he died, the dog died in a way that the dog, to my understanding, the dog kind of went downhill after a while. And people have that way, and that's a common thing. When you have a really close relationship, when one is dying and the other dies shortly later. Now, interesting enough, with my family, with my father, and the amount of independence that I've had to show, and my mother had to show, and everybody else had to show, it's probably not going to have that effect, but who knows. I haven't found, well, I've thought I found true love several times, but it never really worked out. 2 reasons. 1, it just didn't work out. 2, I didn't ask. So, still shooting myself in the foot on a lot of stuff. But, you know, what can you do? You only can do what you can do. But what I thought, the photography was awesome. The storyline was awesome. But dealing with the dementia, and that is so close to the real thing. How they did in the film, but they brought the audience, and then all of a sudden she goes crazy, and it's like, what the hell? they should have gotten a better accolade on that. I thought the acting was that, and I think it was one of the few films I ever saw James Garner crying, and he did a really good job on that because, you know, he was imitating like he's watching his wife being sedated, and he had her back, and he lost her again. And you have to ask, how many times have he gone through this with her? 3 heart attacks, you know, or no, 2 heart attacks before this. The third probably is the one that killed him, but twice in this? What? Well, how many times did he go through it? And that's the hard part. Even the family said, this is enough. And his kids arrived, said, this is enough. And he said, you know what? That's my love in there. You guys have your life. I have mine. This is my home. And that's that. All right? And they backed off. And that's the thing. It was a fantastic way to end the film. That realistic? I don't think so. As far as them dying together, that's just a fluke. I mean, it does happen. I think there's weirder stories of a husband or a spouse dying in one spot and the wife dying in the other spot, and they're thousands of miles away. And what triggers it is when one hurts, the other dies, and the other one dies within 2 days. Heart attack, anything. But then there's sometimes where one dies, the other knows he's dead, and they, you know, because they feel they have no purpose to live anymore. And that's hard for anyone at that age. You know, interesting enough, there was a book and a TV show called Lonesome Dove, and one of the most interesting statements they said, and this is Gus McCrae and Call, they're going down the streets of Alamo, so San Antonio, I'm sorry, and Gus said, you know what, we did our job too well. We killed half the people that made this country interesting. They're like, what? And he says, no one will want that back. He says, you know what's going to happen in a few years? They're going to think we're the Indians, and they're going to want to put us in reservations. And what he was referring to is that his generation is in the way of progress, or senior citizens in the way of progress, and they just don't want to deal with them. So thus reservations, thus nursing homes. And that's the ironic thing, and it's how accurate as it is. It's amazing. It's amazing what you deal with. But, you know, I personally, I never want to get thrown in a nursing home. I'd rather die outside of a nursing home. You know, and if I have kids, I'll fight them tooth and nail. I'll fight them tooth and nail. Every blood, every ounce of sweat I got. Because I've seen what happens in those places, and I swear that some of those places, they just let people die. Which is sometimes humane, but sometimes cruel. Because some of them need a lot of help, mental help, and they just don't care. Because they got 200 other not co-workers, but patients, the same problems. And you're a number, you're not a person, you're a number. Now, of course, this doesn't happen with celebrity ones, but anyway. I'm sorry. And just to add on, it looks like my taped in, so I gotta add more. It's a funky way I got this set up. But I'm gonna next do Napoleon Dynamite, which I didn't really want to do, but it'll come up next. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's Dinosa. We'll catch up later. Bye.